Now I have to think hard about this. How do we deal with the shield? The early game pressure is going to be a little difficult, so maybe our EXP laner needs to be able to match it. But now that Cho and Khalid is gone, what are you left with? Volvius is banned out too. Maybe a high loss?
Typically, when you see something like the Angela, Kaja is always something to consider since the Divine Judgment would work, but it would mean flexing the Gatot into the EXP lane. You'll see if Monster Vicious considers that. They're gonna go ahead and lock in carry with Terizla.
Alright, at least with Terizla, it's very focused. He's gonna basically just be looking to clear waves all the time until he's got his first or maybe even second item, and then participate by flickering in with penalty zone. JP are aware of that, but we need to see what this full lineup does before we can figure out what the game plan is.
Imagine this is Alice now, gold lane.
Alice gold lane?
Then you have Angela on Ling or Alice.
Would that be good though? I don't know.
It's a carry though, so MV have already prepared for it.
Yeah, they go with the Lunox this time round. The iframes are going to be useful, especially when you're dealing with Gatot, and more so to dodge the burst of Suyo. Regardless, if Lunox is your first target, you're just baiting for, you're just trying to get her brilliance out as soon as possible.
Okay, an interesting start here. I think MV's got the more typical lineup. They have a lot of tools to play around to the early mid-game scaling. Whereas for the Niners side, Angela Cho means that they will be missing a lot of early game burst damage.
Alright, I mean, let's look at this. The whole composition, strong area control, but Uni's the only one who's got some decent early game damage. I mean, unfortunately for Drizzly, he's been nerfed, but even for JP, which area do you gank with? You have Ye3 as well as Zach QT as the main controllers of this early game. If they can hold on to the early game and bring it into mid without losing anybody, I think it's going to be a good game for the Niners.
Let's see how this develops. The Land of Dawn shall open once again to welcome two competitors, both vying for higher positions in the standings to prepare for the playoffs.
All right, let's jump right into it. It's going to be Uni going to be starting on his orange buff on a blue side against JP Niners. Max going to be starting on his purple buff on red side. So they're on the same side of the map, and I'm guessing that the gold lane is on top. Wild guess? Yep. It's going to be a quick rotation from both sides. I am curious to know why Nova is hanging around. I think he's expecting an invade of some sort, but they're starting on the EXP side of things, right? So now they see the movement coming in from Ye3. They head back up. All of this defending for what?
I think it's just to make sure Niners don't go for a cheeky steal, because if they don't have anyone defending, there's the possibility Niners comes in, takes their purple first, and then back into their own jungle. It's not often seen, but it's a possibility.
Good. Then it's just good foresight coming in from Rossi. But this early game not looking too good for Zach QT. He doesn't mind taking the damage, but he can't take too much here. But Marchese making sure that he's punishing Zach QT's mana.
Meanwhile, in the top lane, contest over the gold crab. Uni looks like they did get it, but takes a lot of damage as well. Tempest of Blade is going to be committed by Max. He wants to get the kill, but not quite enough damage to finish him off, and has to quickly jump away from Martese.
Oh, I don't know about that. Blade surging like that from Uni, especially into 3 people, plus Rossi on this Cho, probably not the best idea. He's lucky he got a bailout there, but something to keep note for later.
Yeah, the thing about Suyo is that while you have a lot of tools for getting in and out, they are also the same tools. So if you commit a lot to jump in, you're going to run out of ways of disengaging.
Well, let's see it. Rossi and as well as Nova X Scopa are going to contest for level 4 at this point of time. But I think right now, Monster Vicious, team fighting is kind of difficult.
I think it's okay, but they gotta have a good amount of their team nearby, because a lot of their damage is front-loaded onto Uni. Rossi jumping in, Raging Sandstorm gonna land on one. Uni still secures the turtle, but a nice knock-up from the Tempest of Blade is gonna be doing a lot of damage with the Heart Guard as Uni drops first blood, claimed by Max. And Monster Vicious not able to chase. Avatar the Guardian beautifully dashed away by the Niners.
And this is why I was worried about MV. The problem isn't about team fighting, the problem is just raw base damage. And, oh wait, Brilliance is out. Does Lolios want to go for the Darkening? He doesn't have enough mana, I think. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, looks like not too much there. Bottom lane also a pretty close matchup, but the Niners getting a small lead here with that first turtle and the kill onto Uni.
Both sides holding it even for now. We're looking for the big tempo break. because JP NINERS, I feel like they're the ones currently on the clock, except for Lolio, but everybody else, they can only scale so far. So they need to make things happen across the map, because right now, Ye3 can't leave his lane, so it's only Max and Zach QT with Rossi as the mid trio to make the difference.
In the same way, if Monster Vicious are able to catch out Max, then NINERS also kind of lack damage. A lot of it would be on Ye3 instead. So they are key players in the junglers on both sides that need to be targeted first.
Uni has been power farming this entire time. Currently a level lead on Max. Very slight EXP lead. Lolio's first item, Glowing Wand. Alright, fair enough. He's expecting the DHS to eventually come out. Oh?
Both junglers are in the bottom lane, but Uni will strike first. Blade Surge cancels out the Raging Sandstorm. Ye3 drops before the animation can complete.
Nicely done for Monster Vicious. Good using CC, especially on a Khalid who absolutely hates the CC. Breaks you out of your animations, but most importantly, makes sure that you can't just quicksand guard in somebody's face. Good movements from Rossi.
Just barely avoids being taunted, though Martizzi is still going to be really annoying. And that means MV have control over the turtle pit.
Hey, Ye3 is here. Hovering around for this. Does want to be part of this turtle fight, but I don't think it's going to be that easy. And I think Lolios is going to go for a lane swap. No.
Xeno is here as well, actually. This could be a 5v5 if the teams decide to commit right now. And not sure that's what they really want just yet. MV, though, going to be the ones working on the turtle. Rossi in the back line, Ling on the wall. Ye3 doing a good amount. Raging Sandstorm flickers in, catches Tree, but the turtle is secured by MV. Hardguard goes on the Ling once again, but Monster Vicious is actually surviving a lot of it right now. And Martizzi picks up Ye3 at the same time. Avatar the Guardian zones out Max. Hardguard still available. Uni doing a lot. Martizzi as well. Double kill for the Zeus Sin as the NINERS don't know what hit them.
Too many people got locked down, and Martizzi is really abusing the CC right now. Sometimes he's not even picking people up. Sometimes he's just adding the stack on. He should be fine, right?
He's fine.
Here. Okay. So far, so very good for Monster Vicious finding a big turnaround fight like that. However, they're not collapsing upon the important targets. And when I mean targets, I mean objectives, things like the purple buff. And I think even for Monster Vicious, right, they're just trying to get by. They want to get their first couple of items, scale into the mid-game, and once Zushin is in a position where she can actually pick somebody up 3, maybe even 4 times, is when you expect to see Monster Vicious have a deadly...
Uni gonna get caught. Beautiful ambush by Rossi. Finds him, lands the kick, beats the kill to Lolil.
Dang, I'm surprised that he got caught like that. Unfortunate that he didn't have the backup.
I don't think he was expecting that rotation. Monster Vicious were still resetting a little bit after their previous engagement. Rossi actually in their jungle right now. I feel like he's probably not going to be able to get a kick here because Monster Vicious are cutting his team off of him. A nice knock-up, but penalty zone is committed, and Rossi is picked off.
Good punish from Monster Vicious. This did cost them 2 ults, though. At the very least, penalty zone. Without the penalty zone, we don't expect Monster Vicious to fight just yet, but they can buy plenty of time. 20 seconds until the next turtle actually spawns, and while this has all been happening, both Max and as well as Uni power farming, both at level 9.
It's surprising to see how well Uni has kept up, considering that he was picked off quite early on and even just killed earlier as well. So, matching and even surpassing Max in EXP is really good for MV currently. Ooh, Rossi and some... Nah, he's fine.
Yep, they managed to move away. They got they baited Martizzi's ult, which is already great. It means that he doesn't have that extra bit of mobility, so that JP NINERS can be precise with the way that they attack. Oh, MV, so very smart. They know that Uni isn't here, so they're just going to drag this out until he does, and then force JP NINERS towards them.
And Nova was even trying to mess with his purple buff. Uni gets that turtle quite easily. Max was still able to get his purple, but the delay from Nova X Kobar meant he couldn't come for the turtle.
Yeah, and now you see that JP NINERS, now that the EXP lane has been unlocked, Zendo doesn't mind leaving the lane, but worse yet for JP.
Oh, flicker kick onto Martizzi, right into Lolil, and they'll finish him off instantly. But Nova's here now. Hardguard gonna be used on Max once again. Nova uses Avatar the Guardian, unfortunately misses. Raging Sandstorm gonna stun him in place. He survives for a while, but not long enough. And now the rest of Monster Vicious are fighting a losing battle as Max gets the double kill, picks off Ruff. Uni gonna be chased down. Triple kill going to Max.
Disgusting team fight coming in from JP NINERS. Rossi sets it up perfectly. Loliel's distance himself just to maximize the machine gun mage herself in that darkening. But Max, so so very good. Mechanically, he is not missing a single beat, and Zach QT is happy to be in his backpack.
Of this Heart Guard, Angela Ling combo has been catching so many teams off guard, even worth banning at some points. Monster Vicious, Martizi's been doing good work, but if he's the first one out of the fight, you can see they have some trouble.
They do. And I think that, at least for MV, it's very clear what they need to work on here. Martizi just needs to be careful with his positioning, and things should go smoothly after. Because the fact is, JP NINERS, they want to dive head first into Monster Vicious, but they can't with Jushin consistently peeling and repositioning them.
And that's why Rasi being able to kick him out of position was really, really big here. It's not usually the target you'd look for, but in this particular case, NINERS have more than enough sustain to fight the rest of the team. They just gotta deal with the mid laner that is disrupting their ranks.
Now they have a second problem, right? Because Martizi, the only reason he died was because he didn't have his Purify. Now that it's active, I think the Otis is on Ye 3 to look for some really big Raging Sandstorms, but he's gonna make some tough choices. Do I need to hit Martizi and force him to use that Purify, or do I just go for as many people as possible?
Yep, this adaptation will be important. We see Lolil actually starting to do some good DPS, doing half of Martizi's health bar in a small skirmish.
Got to dance around this Lord first. Looking at the items, yep, 2 items already complete for this Ling. The gold deficit shrunk, they're back to even.
And even is exactly where the NINERS want to be. Their late game scaling is pretty good with a Lunox and a Ling. Monster Vicious, while they do have a carry, may be a bit more difficult to execute on once you get into the later stages. For now though, we can see macro play being used by the NINERS. With Ling and Angela, they can quite easily split push and force Monster Vicious to be uncomfortable.
Speaking of uncomfortable, Tri-Brush is going to get cleared. So far, we don't see Max, but the fight's about to break out here. But both sides still holding on to their guns.
Oh, great discipline from the NINERS. Max was behind them. Still not engaging, looking for a better timing, and maybe even trying to abuse his mobility to get more macro play in.
Okay, so now, I'm not sure whether they saw the Finch Poise, and that's why Monster Vicious are starting to rush this right now, but Max doesn't have his Finch Poise, so he can't necessarily get out for free.
Lord dropping very low, Rasi looking for the uni kick, he gets it! Kicks him away, Max even gets the monster kill onto the Novak Kobar! And Uni not able to survive, Lord going over to the NINERS, Ruff able to trade for the Khalid, but what will it cost? As Max commits the Tempest of Blades, finds him, picks him off, triple kill again for the Ling. Martizi pulls him back, Heart Guard is already expended, so Zach QT now actually in some trouble. Oh, he almost gets it back in time, but he trades it for Max, and that is a legendary streak for the NINERS jungler.
Max is disgusting right now, 9-0-1, max level, 11 minutes in this game, he's absolutely crushing it, but that's the problem. Too much gold in the EXP on one guy isn't going to be enough to close this game out. They're going to need some real structures.
And that's exactly what NINERS are doing right now. Max even just tanking damage for Xeno since he knows he's no threat to him. Gets the bottom tier 2, has a Lord pushing up top. Monster Vicious going to be left on only inhibitors.
They're going to be taking their time here. JP NINERS have not set up checkmate angle. Both teams have been fighting pretty equally. A consistent back and forth, in a matter of fact. One fight won by JP NINERS, one fight won by Monster Vicious, and then rinse and repeat.
We can see Martizi gonna be using the changes to Zusin to scout out pushes since it doesn't cost mana unless there is an enemy inside.
Looking for any possible punishes here. I gotta keep my eyes on Rasi right now because so far he's been finding some incredible kicks. Either Martizi is either kicked out and picked off. Nova X Scorback just can't use his avatar of the Guardian in time. Can't wait to see what else JP has in stored.
Yeah, it seems like the NINERS actually have too much mobility for the Gatot to be able to catch them out with the ultimate. The setup needs to be a little bit cleaner there because they're losing a lot of control from this ability whipping so many times.
Yeah, I think we need to see Zeno go for the big engage with the penalty zone first and then see what the response from JP NINERS is after.
Speaking of, NINERS looking to pressure the purple buff now. Yetri engaging on Martizi, instantly forcing ult from Zusin. Ruff doing a good amount of poke to Rasi, actually dropping him to 40%. Purple buff going to be reset. Monster Vicious does zone them out, but Max is still here, and looks like Uni was able to take it for himself.
He has, so far, as we can see, Both sides, in terms of like EXP, in terms of gold laners, both 13 to 13 level. Zeno and Ye3. Ye3 is down by a level. Both junglers are maxed out 13 minutes into this game. Martizi level 12 to Zach QT's level 12. So honestly, it's pretty dead even except for the economy. EXP leads barely, are honestly marginal at this point for both Zeno and Ye3 because both of them do want to do the exact same thing. Just go in, engage as hard as you can, and then sustain through the damage.
The net worth lead actually isn't that big either. 13 minutes in, only just under 3k. So MV are still actually okay as long as they take their next few fights properly. Ruff has just got his Wind of Nature as well, so that should help him dual max a little easier.
Actually, speaking of which, JP9ers, if we look at the current state of the game, JP9ers have the advantage because at the very least they can chase Monster Vicious all the way from the Lord Pit to their base. There are no structures in between to save them.
Zeno in some trouble, already at half HP. The two-man taunt into the penalty zone flicker! Finds Tree! Tempest of Blades comes out, Max gets the legendary though. He's already picked up Ruff, that is the key target! Zeno will follow! Avatar the Guardian actually lands on a good spot for once, but it's already too late. Lolil gets his own double kill. Martizi, the only survivor. Heart Guard used on Rasi to increase his movement speed and allow him to chase down the Zeusin, zoning him away while Max gets a free push in the mid lane. Zach QT somehow surviving the tower after all of that, and NINERS just going to use this as a chance to immediately end the game on the Crystal.
They've done it, and they've broken through. Crystal down, game 1 over. JP9ers